All right, I think it might be go time. Let's check the audio. Let's see here. So again, we are rocking out on my end. So you guys. Oh, now I'm muted. There we go. That was a test. Just trying to see if everybody was paying attention. I got chat right here, right next to me, right next to my heart. Not really, it's on the opposite side. If you guys want me to look at anything throughout the course of the stream, let me know. We'll pull it up. Otherwise, we're going to get right into it. We got a bunch of people. Thanks for coming. Rock out with your block out. Yeah, there you go. Bowden. Okay. Always a good start. Getting requests for the meme coins. E-gold. I don't know what that is. I assume it's some sort of gold thing. B&B, sure thing. Yep. I should probably make a note of these, huh? Let's just do that. You know, I never say that the stream is not financial advice, but I hope that's implied. BNB, KDP, KO, PEP. Josh Coin, that's not happening. People wanted me to do Josh Coin for, what's it called? Friend something? Friendster? No. What was it called? I can't remember. Yeah, see the good people in the chat, they know. They know what's up. Friendtech, thank you, Friendtech. That stuff's clearly a scam. Friendtech 2.0 is clearly also going to be a scam. People are just trying to pump and dump stuff. I mean, all right, I think I got all of them. Elrond. Ah, okay. I knew that ticker was familiar. I couldn't remember why. I gotta turn up my voice on my end. This is the first time I'm talking to anybody today. I'm just here in my ivory tower by myself. We're gonna start with, what's up, Rojogan? It always messes with my head because I'm like, am I dyslexic or is that really your name? And I am like slightly dyslexic. So it always rattles my brain for a second. All right, immediate alpha. We're gonna do Bitcoin. We're gonna do a list of stuff I'm thinking about, some new stuff, some legacy stuff, and then we'll do whatever. This to me is the only chart that matters. Probably in crypto, but definitely for Bitcoin. It's the only thing that matters. What do we got on here? We got daily cloud, obviously. We're on the daily time frame. We've got a pitchfork. It doesn't need to be there, but I think it helps reinforce the zone of confluence for support. Kind of the importance of 54, 55 to me is the level to watch if we break down. I'm going to give you a short setup and a long setup, just like I did probably last week on a video, because I don't know where we're headed. I don't think we're going up. I really don't, but it's also not, I'm not confident enough to immediately start shorting this to think like, oh yeah, I'm sure this is going down. I don't think we're quite there yet either. So I'll tell you where I think the time is to pull that trigger on that. But so we've got daily cloud, we've got pitchfork, we've got yearly pivots, which broadly help with the range, right? It's not a coincidence that we are sitting on top of the R2 yearly pivot at 62.7. It's not a coincidence that if we break down, we're probably headed for an attempt to 52.5. You know, these are all rough numbers, but they line up with the zone. You know, if we break down, I think a successful breakdown would be an absolute meltdown to like 52.5 and then wicking back up quickly, probably immediately to 54, 55. That would be the best case for a breakdown, in my opinion, because if we break below the 140 daily moving average, which is the 20-week moving average, that is never a good sign in a bull trend. We've never really done that in a bull trend and held the trend. So, it's this yin and yang between, yes, we're overbought. Yes, we've pulled forward a bunch of post-halving stuff. Yes, we had the ETFs and now the flows are down. Is that going to mess with the historic likelihoods and probabilities of being bullish above or below the 20-week moving average? It might. The pitchfork gives you a lower bound zone as well of expectations here, saying like we could go as low as 50K and still be fine. I wouldn't like that based on the 20-week moving average. Again, it's all about just probabilities. What do I think is going to happen here? I have no edge here other than we're above the cloud. That's it. We're still bullish. Trend is still bullish, undeniably bullish. Use any metric you want. We are still bullish. We've lost momentum completely, okay, but we're not as bearish as the legacy indices, which I'll look at in a second. Those are extremely bearish relative to what this looks like. This is a walk in the park compared to those. So this is really the only chart that matters to me out of all of crypto, all of legacy. As long as we can hold above the cloud, we're good. We're good. That's it. That's the ball game. Sorry. Look, we can talk about infinity. We can talk about failed experiment, Ponzi. I still, every day, literally every day, I listen to so much stuff every day online, on YouTube, podcasts, news segments. Every single day, there's a new legacy Muppet coming out here saying, oh man, I don't know why this is up so much. It's a Ponzi, or it doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't have any value, just buy gold. There's still virtually nobody who owns this stuff. Virtually nobody on the legacy side who trusts this. This is the farthest thing from a crowded trade. So it might feel like, oh man, we've gone from 30 to 60. This is so crowded. This is, that is not my vibe based on people in legacy, okay? They still do not understand this stuff. Yeah, so much noise. Anyway, so this is the chart that matters. You can take off the pitchfork if you want and just look at the cloud. Look at the 140-day moving average. Super, super important. There's nothing immediately to do here, so we'll talk about that. But if I'm looking for longs, okay, this is the long setup scenario. Right now I've got no edge. We've got no momentum. I don't know where we're going, up or down, okay? I have no positions on other than spot, right? Okay, just to be clear, I have no idea what's going to happen here. What would I want to see to open a leverage long, whether that be BitX or BITU or on GMX or wherever else you trade leverage? Okay, this is what I would be looking for, not financial advice. On the cloud, on the 8-hour, okay, because we already know the daily TK cross is bullish. We're already above the cloud. There's not really anything to look for on the daily cloud other than a bullish TK crisscross, so bearish then bullish. That's going to take 2 weeks if it happens. But what we can do on the 8-hour, since that breakdown, we've held in and below the cloud, okay? Much like February, what is this, 10th? February 10th. This is the exact setup, okay? You might think I'm a cloud trader. I'm really just like a chart pattern trader where I'm always looking for the same type of setup. It's boring. It's not exciting. But on the 8-hour, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for a bullish Kumo twist, bullish Kumo breakout, bullish TK cross. I put the lagging span on there. That needs to be above price and above cloud, okay? Right now, we have none of those things. Absolutely nothing. On the 8-hour, this is still quite bearish. This is recoverable. It's fixable from the bullish perspective. This could be an ascending triangle. This could be Adam and Eve. I don't know. This could be a bunch of stuff still. Like, I have no clue. We got lucky March, February that this formed this month-long pattern. Inverted head and shoulders. You had the cloud on top of that. You had flows coming back, right? The rest is history. So this is what to look for on the 8 hour. This specific setup, these exact things. Okay, this is how it looked in February before the breakout, right? What did we get? We got the Kumo breakout. The TK cross happened well in advance. The Kumo twist was actually pretty late relative to this breakout, and the lagging span was already above the cloud and above price. So on the 8 hour, to me, a Kumo breakout is enough to open a trade with conviction. A Kumo twist, even more. Lagging span, I don't really pay attention to. But this is the exact setup to look for. This exact thing. Just, take a snapshot, put it in your head. You can set an alert on the 8 hour cloud, right? Even if this goes nowhere, even if it continues ranging for another 3 months, that the cloud doesn't care. The cloud is constantly trying to shove you into trades on the right side at the right time, okay? So daily is still bullish. 8 hour is trying to make up its mind. Alternatively, for the short trade, okay, this is a different setup. This is the short setup. This is the go from spot to cash setup. This is the hedge your coins setup. This is the hit the red button instead of the green button. What you would want to see on the daily, bearish TK cross, close inside the cloud. This was the first all-time high in 2021. And what I like about this as a historical reference is we tried to break down in April 2021, did not have the bearish TK cross, and pulled back up, took another week, eventually crossed. This didn't really look like anything, This didn't look particularly bearish. It just looked like we lost momentum. But again, the cloud doesn't care about where we're going. It's just telling you, based on the math, this is a bearish TK cross. We're now in the cloud. Ideally, you get a slightly better entry here than this because this is already, on the day, this stabbed pretty deep. But on the current daily, if we get a bearish TK cross, that is a big warning sign that, hey, this could drift into the cloud, and the probability increases by quite a bit. You can see how difficult it was a couple days ago for us to actually close in the cloud. I don't think that's a coincidence. Just like in April 22nd or whatever it was, 2021, similar concept. So the moment we get a bearish TK cross, sound the klaxons because we're probably in trouble. Okay, we're probably in trouble. I think by Sunday, price is very likely to cross a bearish TK cross here. There's some like preview indicators where you can, I don't care. I just look at it on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's going to cross within the next week for sure if we just stay here. So those are the two setups, okay? Long above the 8 hour, just like February. Short, bearish TK cross pricing cloud. The next thing you can do is you can say, okay, just based on the range, where do I think this is going to go? Just using fibs, you take the range, you take the high, you take the low, and you project it higher and lower. In this case, again, I don't know. It's a coin flip. I literally have no clue. Based on the rest of the world, I'm guessing down, but I don't think you can be confident enough to position for that just yet. So if you take your fib tool, high to low to high, whatever, this is your baseline expectations for a move. I don't think it's a coincidence that, again, we're in like the wheelhouse of this 52, 54, 55, I don't know, somewhere down there. So we're talking like probably the next 2 weeks we will have an answer. I don't think it's going to take a month. But sorry, I'm playing with my power cord. I don't think it's going to take a month. I think it's going to take probably 2 weeks for a decision here. I think we will get the bearish TK cross. But again, just like February, on the daily, where is it? Probably hard to see, but the daily on February, we had the bearish TK cross. We never closed in the cloud. And then we get the bearish TK, or sorry, the bullish TK cross. These are just moving average crosses, basically. You know, they're not, but they are. So this is like, I don't know. To some people, this might sound like super nuanced and like, you know, I'm splitting hairs here, but it's just if this, then that, if this, if that, blah, 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 right? So those are the big things I'm watching for on Bitcoin. All right, let me re-chat for a second. So Fizan 58K or just kill me. Okay, that's a little aggressive. Waiting for a good buy. Which color is the 20-week? The 20-week is the green line there. It's probably impossible to see if you're colorblind, but Tesla we'll look at. Tesla's bearish, I can tell you that right now. Coin, sure, we'll definitely look at coin. Yeah, to me, because of the setting, so this is why I don't use the lagging span. Because of the 2x settings of the cloud that I use, to me, the lagging span doesn't really help. You know, I'm already on a higher time frame, so I don't feel like I need to rely on something else. It's usually in agreement with whatever's going on, right, on the daily or the 8 hour, whatever you're looking at, right? Socks L, sure. For your projections, you are obvious using minus to project past 0. Don't know what you mean there. TK described as moving medians. There you go. Sure. Crunchy Taco, I have to come to the people. And most people, I think, know what a moving average is. But if I were to say, like, oh, this uses the highs and lows of the previous X periods compared to the highs and lows of the previous Y periods, you know, people might not really understand that. But you're right. Moving medians. I like that. Waste management, the safest stock to buy. I mean, we can look at it. Ocean, sure. Anyways, that's Bitcoin. We still have all this. So this was the list I put together Sunday. None of this has gotten any better. Arguably, this entire list has gotten worse. And that just means more headwinds, less tailwinds. This is just a probability thing, okay? That's all it is. I don't even think this is a perfect list, but you know, geopolitical stuff, I don't think that's gotten better over the past week. I don't see that getting better in a week. Could be wrong. Rates have gotten worse. Rates have gone way up. We'll take a look at that. That's not going to help risk. That's not going to help Bitcoin. That's not going to help the tailwind argument. The legacy indices have bounced a little bit. We'll take a look at that. They don't look great. They look pretty awful. They look pretty awful. Gold's come down a bit. You know, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it hit a TA target. I think it's funny that the gold people talk about like the Bitcoin mania and it's a Ponzi, it's the worthless. And you look at gold and like who's buying and why they're buying. A lot of it's Asia. A lot of it's, you know, the Asian gamble. A lot of it's, to me, TA related and not necessarily the world is ending related. So it's just funny. DXY got stronger this week, I think. We'll take a look at that. Liquidity got worse. We'll take a look at that. And overall uncertainty after the GDP numbers today, the PCE numbers we're going to get tomorrow. I don't think uncertainty got any better either. I think maybe certainty about rates not coming down, but uncertainty didn't get any better. the having expectations, we'll take a look at that. That's bullish, like, 2 months from now. So it's not going to help us today. Just keep that in mind. For the new people here watching on stream or otherwise, having has never been historically bullish the day of. It always has taken a while. Everybody knows this who spends 5 seconds paying attention. So again, the Muppets like Bianco saying, "Oh man, they thought halving's going to be bullish," or when he was poo-pooing the ETF launch and it was a buy the sell the news. Well, we're up what 25% since the launch. Jim Bianco, just certain people. Like I love the guy, but come on, like use your mind. Flows have been trash. We'll take a look at that. We got some news on the ETF options front. We will take a look at that and wirehouse stuff as well. So we'll go in reverse order, but this is the seasonality for having, I guess I'll call it seasonality. I don't know what expectations, historical data. We don't have 200 years of having data. Okay, we have like a decade. 2012 is kind of an anomaly, so I just threw it out of this data set. But where you'd expect us to be, plus or minus 400 days from having, we don't really start appreciating in price until like day 75. So I don't really have any expectations for the next 60, 70 days. We are where we should be. It's very possible that this whole thing we could go sideways for months, hit this medium point on the pitchfork, and satisfy pullback conditions, like that's also possible. I don't think that's on anybody's bingo card, but it's possible. So looking at this, again, I wouldn't expect a miracle here anytime super soon because of having. The ETF flows have been abysmal, okay? They have been negative, low, down, use whatever descriptor you want there. If we look at the weekly flows, it makes sense if we're looking at price, whether or not flows are leading price, whether or not flows have an outsized effect on price, whatever, right? It's not helping us here, obviously. So it's like we're sailing around, what is it, the Cape of Good Hope? Is that what it is? The doldrums? We don't have any wind on our sails. This is not helping us. It's not necessarily bearish, but on a relative, week 8 versus week 16, it's a pretty big difference between 2 billion in versus 0, right? So what's it going to take? I think it's going to take price moving 250, 50s, I should say, not 250. I think it's going to take price moving to the 50s or price moving to the 70s to bring back the flows. Otherwise, it feels like the people who've wanted to buy so far have done what they needed to do, right? We've got, what do we've got? 12 billion, I think. Just checking the net. Yeah, 12 billion in. It's a pretty decent number for the first 15 weeks. Not bad. Not bad. But momentum obviously slowed down, I didn't mention the Hong Kong ETFs, but they were approved. They are likely to start trading at the end of the month. The ETF boys have been talking about this from Bloomberg. It's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. The total AUM for this stuff is probably going to be peanuts compared to the US. But we'll have the data and we'll see, right? More products is better than less products. When we start moving, I think this will help us have an effect on price, right? If it's Asia session versus US session versus some sort of lead lag relationship, whatever, right? Like you can't be bearish on more products. So love it, more of it, keep it coming. This was an article today out of the block. SEC delays decision on trading spot Bitcoin ETF options. Asks for public comments. So there's another like 60 days. Comments in 21 days, rebuttal comments, and so it's going to be at least another 60 days. Which, hey, 60 days, that seems to line up with this 60 days of nothing. So it's going to be interesting if once these launch, which I assume eventually they will, if that lines up with the TA expectations, the flows expectations. I don't know. Like it might, right? It might. It might take 120 days. I don't know. But I don't see more products as being bearish. I just don't. This is the wirehouse color, I guess you could call it. Morgan Stanley potentially allowing 15,000 brokers to solicit client purchases of the ETFs. And again, more access is not bearish. You can argue the expectations are poor or slim to none. Okay, fine. But whatever you want to think about it, this is not bearish to have more access for people. Money that didn't previously have the ability to buy this stuff will have the ability to buy this stuff. So anyway, that's eventually coming as well. None of this stuff is like an immediate catalyst for anything. And then on the US ETH ETF expectations, article out of Reuters talking about the likelihood that these are not going to get approved in May, I guess it would be. BlackRock's last deadline is August. So, the big thing here is the SEC isn't really communicating with the issuers. Unlike the ETF stuff for Bitcoin, where they were having all this back and forth and like changing things. And so that's really the difference maker here. Just something else to watch if you're expecting a ETH ETF. Thanks, Karen. Becoming an atmosphere aficionado. If you want to join the channel for my OnlyFans, it's my YouTube OnlyFans. It's $3 a month. I don't, people are generous enough to give me money, so I'll take it. But you can do that through YouTube, just like subscribing to a Twitch stream or whatever. Sunday I also talked about GOX, Gemini, FTX, all of those disbursements, I guess you'd call them, are coming this year as well. Will that be bullish? Will that be bearish? I don't know. We're unlocking supply, so that's potentially bearish. Just another headline to think about. FTX said by the end of the year they want to get everything sent out to people, and that's going to be in USD, I believe. GOX is going to be both BTC and JPY, I think. Gemini is going to be in kind, and then there's like the Celsius stuff that's still happening. So there's still a lot of stuff going on with the disbursements, the bankruptcies. I don't really think that's bullish or bearish. I think it sort of nets out, but just something to think about whenever you see those headlines. I don't think it's that big of a deal personally, but the market might think it's a big deal. Today we got some negative GDP value. I would argue it wasn't the value itself wasn't negative, but it was far below expectations. The market did not like that. The market did not like the PCE number as well in the GDP calculation. But it also kind of meant we're probably not going to cut this year as much as people thought we were. So we're in this weird place of strength, but not really, but weakness. People throwing out the stagflation name to describe what's going on here. But this is not helpful for risk markets, for expectations of the future, the near-term futures, liquidity. You got to think you are competing. Your altcoin, okay, is competing with 5% risk-free rate. Okay, like much easier to push altcoins up when rates are zero. Not that we need rates to go back to zero for altcoins to do well, but this is just probabilities. Headwind, tailwind. Is rates higher for longer a tailwind or a headwind for alts? You tell me. I'm gonna go with headwind. So not impossible for alts to do well, but alts will have a tougher time doing well in that environment. Trueflation's kind of been ping-ponging around between like 2 and 2.25. It hasn't really tracked CPI. CPI expectations don't look great, and we're not like rocketing higher, but we've stopped going down, and that's what worries people because we're still not to target. So again, like, is the Fed gonna raise rates? Are they gonna say another 6 months? What are they gonna say? Even PCE here is declining. It's going in the right direction. But is this enough for the Fed to cut? I don't think so. And that's probably what Powell is going to say. He's got a meeting next week, Wednesday, FOMC. And I can't imagine markets are going to be happy with what he has to say when he basically confirms that they are not cutting anytime soon. And looking at rates, this is the US interest rates across the curve. All of these on the long end are rising. That's a bear steepener. A bull steepener would be the short end falling to meet the long end. This is the opposite. And again, risk is competing with risk off or risk free. Risk free keeps looking better and better and better. We keep issuing debt that's pushing yields higher. International buyers of our debt are selling or pulling back on their purchases, pushing yields higher. It's just everything looks like yields are going higher. And it's just hard to compete if you are a company and your cost of capital is rising, your margins are shrinking, whatever, right? It's just math. So if yields keep going higher, that's going to make it very difficult for things like the IWM to do well, for altcoins to do well. It's not good for anybody. This will be a huge, huge headwind if these keep going up. The 10-year is the big one. If the 10-year goes to 5%, previously that's when things got super interesting. But even the 2-year is at 5% here. So, again, like this is not supporting evidence to be bullish right now. The dollar, I guess the dollar's pulled back quite a bit this week. Just something to think about. Will this play out as a falling wedge? Maybe. It looks like it wants to. If you're bullish crypto, you do not want this to play out. This is, the dollar index. We want the dollar below 100. Once the dollar's below 100, we can all have a party. We can all have a good time. We can meet in Vegas. We can, we can jump in the fountain. But this is not bullish it's not bullish for crypto if DXY is rising. We can look at the components of the DXY. To me, look extremely bullish or bearish depending on the pair. This is UJ. Above 155. The previous line in the sand was 150. If they want to course correct this, they would sell US Treasuries, which would raise yields, which would hurt risk, right? It all sort of talks to each other. And this looks like it's going higher. This doesn't look like it's stopping at 155 unless somebody does something about it. So again, like that's not going to help our case if the BOJ is dumping US Treasuries or something. This is Euro USD. This to me looks more bearish than bullish. You could say head and shoulders. You could say, I guess that's kind of it. Double top. I don't know. But if the UJ is above 109, we can celebrate a little bit. It looks like it recovered a little bit. Didn't break down completely. But, if this stuff goes in the direction we don't want it to go, that's how Bitcoin goes to 55. That's how Bitcoin goes to 50. If the DXY goes back to its runaway freight train status to 108 plus, then we're in trouble on crypto, for sure. At least to a point. The thing about this list is like, all this stuff is actually super bullish for Bitcoin. It just, we have to get through the pain first for people to realize like, okay, we need another option, The pain would take like potentially years, I don't know, but eventually all this is actually a headwind for Bitcoin, a tailwind for Bitcoin. USD CAD, you tell me, does that look bearish? That looks super bullish to me. Call it whatever you want, I don't know, but that looks bullish. So all that stuff not headed in the right direction. And then we've got reverse repo, which on an inverse axis kind of just tells the liquidity story. In 2021 and 2022, money was getting put into the reverse repo. Liquidity was getting taken out of the system. 2023 to present, we have emptied the reverse repo. It's no coincidence that Bitcoin's done really well in that environment. Up here, we've kind of stalled out with the reverse repo drain. We're just kind of chilling at like 400 billion-ish. So that tailwind is gone, right? We don't have another 2 trillion to empty to help push risk assets. And that's the same with the S&P, with the Qs. All of this lines up with liquidity, So again, probabilities, headwind, tailwind. Can we go up? Sure, we can go up. But looking at like the liquidity index of the United States versus Bitcoin, this is a chart crime for sure. But, liquidity is falling, okay? And we are just sort of chilling here. Liquidity is not going to help us, right? So previously we had ETFs plus liquidity. Up here, what do we got? Wirehouses coming online, maybe. Hong Kong ETFs, maybe. Certainly don't have liquidity on our side. Not yet, right? Again, all this stuff is eventually bullish. Look at SVB. It takes like failures in the Fed stepping in because we assume they will. Maybe they won't, right? If they don't step in, they don't step in. But if we start to see more bank failures, if we start to see like failed treasury auctions and yield curve control, like these things aren't coming next week, but they're things to watch for within the next year as we stay at like 5% plus on rates. But this is not like a bullish viewpoint for liquidity here. It just ain't. We can go up, but it's gonna be harder. Anyway, all right. What else we got? So in the moment, yeah, I'll look at any ticker, just throw it in there. At the moment, I don't have anything bullish or bearish. It's just the expectation certainly isn't bullish. So I think by definition, I'm more bearish than bullish until some things change. I don't think, somebody asked me to look at this Galaxy Digital Holdings. This actually looks like coin to me a lot. In a lot of these charts, like the answer is the same. I don't want to jump around too much, so the timestamps are clean. But when we get to the legacy stuff, like there's really nothing in legacy right now that I would want to touch. It just isn't. Things always look dumpiest before it's pumpiest. I mean, yada, that's fine, but let's get above the 8-hour cloud. and then we can talk. Until then, I don't really have much else to say about Bitcoin, you know? Somebody wanted me to look at the weekly cloud with legacy settings. I don't think, I mean, we can go monthly. Like, to be clear, we are still bullish. It's just the people that are day trading, the people that are trading, swing trading from week to week, like, we could easily go to 55. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that we can go to 55. There's also no doubt in my mind that we're probably headed to well above 100K this cycle. It's just a matter of your time horizon, you know? But sitting here today, this week, I don't see a path for immediate new all-time highs anytime super soon. But yeah, things are still bullish, right? I think DCAing anything near 50 is amazing. I think DCAing anything near the 20-week moving average is amazing. That's at 50, 55. I think all that is great. Anything sub 50, amazing. If we get to 30s, like, I'll sell my retinas. Does anybody want to buy retinas? I'll sell them. I'll sell my eyeballs. I don't think we're getting that low. I really don't. That would take some like catastrophic stuff for that to happen. 33K by July, says Schnicken. I don't think so. 33K would be 30 to get to 30s. We would have to see billions come out of the ETFs. That's how we get to 30. It's not impossible, right? Is it likely? I don't think it's likely. Yeah, the ETFs aren't getting delisted. Let's not throw that out there, but we could see outflows from the ETFs that are substantial, right? That would get us to the 30s. Again, like, if you think that's going to happen, sell right now and don't look back. I'm not going to stop you. I don't think that's going to happen personally, but doesn't mean it can't happen, right? It's just probabilities. Of course it's possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right. GCR used bullish people as exit liquidity. Yeah, somebody messaged me about GCR or said something, and I was like, look, GCR is not enough to hold up this market forever. Okay. Does lagging span in cloud mean price is working through support resistance? That's correct, Ro. Just means the 30 days prior are not above the support or resistance or below support. What's your win rate? What's your win rate using cloud as opposed to using G Cloud? I don't know what G Cloud is. I don't know what that means. Default? My win rate using doubled cloud is impeccable compared to default cloud. But that's me. I know a lot of people who hate the doubled settings. That's fine. Use whatever makes you money, right? What do I care? But it's 100%. Like, let's look at the singled. Where can let's just do this. I mean, I'll look at it from time to time. I just don't, what is it? 952, 104, 26, right? I think that's right. No, that's not. That's not right. What is it? 926.52? That must be it. 926.52.26. It's not terrible, right? Like, it's caught these moves fairly well since October, but I think most trend metrics have. what are you always looking for? You're looking for the breakouts. It caught that. It's a little noisy up here with the TK crisscross. It caught this breakout well up here. The TK cross gets noisy, and that's where the people would yell at me and say, turn on the lagging span. If we are, where are we? If we go back to here, you know, that would be an entry on the legacy, the default cloud. Lagging span's not in price yet. I don't know, like it's not awful. I just think it's noisier. That's all. Even here, it's not really telling you anything that the daily is not telling you on the doubled settings. So, you know, use whatever you like, but I like this one better personally. I just think it makes more sense. It's easier to see. Almost nothing is bullish for crypto right now. I agree. That we're not at 40K is a miracle with all the headwinds. I agree. Yeah, we can look at, is it, I forget, which exchange has BTC JPY? Bitflyer, there we go. It's certainly at a higher all-time high than USD, but I don't think there's like any different signals here. It looks the same to me. You know, it's maybe slightly more bullish, but I think it looks the same. Told you all about Hedera ecosystem weeks ago, says Z Cole. Well, I must have missed it. I also missed the 6 hours that it went up and down. Doubled settings rule for high time frames. I agree. Any news on the ETTF? Yeah, we went over it. It's probably not happening anytime soon. Could I look at the base ecosystem? Yeah, if you throw me some tickers, I can look at the base ecosystem. I just don't know what the tickers are. Win rate using cloud versus not using cloud. I don't know what I would use other than cloud. I guess alligator. I mean, the reason I use cloud is because I kind of tried everything else, and I liked trend trading. I liked doing nothing for a long time. I liked signals that only happen like once every month, if that. So that's why I settled with the cloud and the settings I use. You could use, I don't know, like the 5200. I don't know. I feel like the cloud gives you so much context on not only the strength of the trend, but expectations from momentum. I don't know. Like what would I do with the 5200? If we're below the 50, you could say that's your trailing stop loss. If you're above the 200 for the first time in a while, that could be a long entry. The cross could be a long entry. Recapturing the 50 could be a long entry. I don't know. I just like the cloud better. Will I ever play with meme coins? I don't know what that means, Waldo, but I do have I do have a plan for meme coins. Do you think the ETF will change the BTC chart from doubled to legacy? So that's a good question, because in the weekend periods, and we can always look at BitO or something. In the weekend periods, it's kind of noisy, kind of nothing happens. You can always look at the futures market or even the ETFs. The spot ETFs have enough data at this point. You know, this BitO chart to me looks very bearish. Again, maybe I just have bear goggles on. I don't know, but this looks like a bearish TK cross is going to happen today. It has broken down, if we turn on line, To me, it looked like there was some sort of head and shoulders here or descending triangle that broke down, and it's kind of just struggling at this level here. So to me, this looks much more bearish than spot does, which is concerning, right? Like, definitely concerning. Does the futures market lead? Sometimes. The futures market's certainly important. You know, here was your breakout. Here was your bullish continuation. So that would be something to watch for on the daily legacy. What's going on with futures market, right? I was also saying that IBIT on like the 4 hour, you know, again, like there's no way I can be bullish on this here. You just can't. You were setting up for something, didn't happen, broke down. It retraced to the neckline effectively. You know, I don't know. I don't see anything that's bullish about that. But you tell me. If I had to pick, do you think ETH or SOL have a better bull cycle? I think SOL, hands down, is going to have a better cycle than ETH. All right, let's talk about some of the other majors. They look they look worse to me than Bitcoin does. Daily cloud, ETH is in the cloud. There's nothing to do, right? If we start closing below the daily cloud for ETH, yeah, I like lows. Where could ETH go? ETH could go back to 2000 based on whatever has happened here. I don't think that's unreasonable. You're basically retracing the breakout. What's up, Ray? I don't have any SOL backs. I have a little bit of ETH. I have a little bit of SOL. I just think SOL, you got to follow the herd. The idiot herd is trading on SOL and DEXs. Look at all of the metrics for ETH. They're bad. They're real bad. Look at them relative to SOL. They're even worse. Can that change? Sure. But I could care less about the tribalism. I'm just looking at the data. You know, look at what ETH has done relative to SOL. Price-wise, it's no contest. SOL ETH, you know, we can look at it. SOL ETH is in the stratosphere. Okay, so ETH is doing a bunch of nothing. SOL USD also in the daily cloud, right? There's nothing to do, so you probably need the cloud to reset. This is just as neutral could get. There's nothing to do here at all. If you want to be bearish with bear goggles, sub 80, I don't hate it. I'm just taking the fibs, right? The thing about alts on the way down is the order book is super thin. The smart money knows that alts drop to just about anywhere at any time. And when things are bearish, the acceleration to the downside because of leverage just makes everything worse, right? So, you know, realistically, would it be hard to break 100? Probably. But, no, I don't know. Sure. But look at this thing. Since October, it's clearly been very bullish. So to see all of the trend metrics reset is a great thing. It's a great thing. Even if this lives below the cloud for a while, it just makes the next trade on the long side even easier, again, because everything is reset. You're just looking for this exact thing over again up here over the next, we'll call it 3 months, right? I don't know how long it's going to take. But there's nothing that says do anything. the soul right here. Doge to me, okay, look, you can tell me. I will happily take input here, but this this chart does not look bullish to me. You know, we call it whatever you want, but that's not a happy chart. Now, if we start making higher highs, yeah, sure, we'll talk about it. But to just expect something like this to break up, I think is wishful thinking. Stuff like AVAX, like stuff further down the list, already looks terrible. AVAX gave up the daily cloud a while ago, bearish. Link gave up the daily cloud a while ago. That's why alts, they just look worse than BTC. Matic gave up the daily cloud. You can just click this list. Like, I could go in 5 seconds. Near looked great. Okay, all these other ones look like junk. Near, at the very least, is above the cloud still. ADA, bearish. ETC, bearish. INJ, bearish. IMX, bearish. Rune, bearish. GRT, bearish. Sushi looks horrific. Sushi's almost given back everything since October. By the way, Sushi and Uni had this head and shoulders thing like Doge has right now. You just can't look at that, you know, even though the pattern people are always all over me when I say this is a head and shoulders. I cannot look at this and think, oh man, this is probably going to break up. This needs to clear itself before I'm bullish. That's it. SNX, back to the daily cloud. SNX, super bearish. Aave, bearish. All of DeFi is very, very bearish. Any ETH L2 token, very bearish. Uni, retraced everything. Ripple, junk, sideways, ranging. It was a multi-month low the other day. Filecoin, bearish on the daily, had a head and shoulders. Algo retraced a bunch, also had a head and shoulders, not bullish. Flow, descending triangle breakdown, bearish below the cloud on the daily. ENS, bearish. Okay, there's no chart other than near. To me, that looks good. I'll look at BNB because I know people keep screaming about BNB. BNB is the best looking alt chart. Okay, I said it. It looks great. It looks really, really good. Now, am I concerned about like headline risk and regulatory risk and CZ going to jail and Binance US imploding and Binance.com shrinking internationally? Yeah, all those things are important considerations. But this chart looks great. This chart looks, compare this to anything I just looked at. This is a breath of fresh air. This looks amazing. I hope you're sitting down for this chart pattern reveal. Let's invert the axis just so it's easier to see. There we go. It's almost got this like King's Castle head and shoulders. You can blame Peter Brandt, by the way, for turning me on to the King's Castle. The shoulders are higher than the head. So if I invert the axis, it just might be easier for some people to see, but yes, you can get any pattern at any place along a trend. I realize that this is a bullish continuation, inverted head and shoulders, whatever. It looks phenomenal. Looks great. Looks really good. Looks really, really good. How would I trade this? I would either look on the 12-hour. 12-hour cloud has a bearish TK cross still. So I would wait for the bullish TK cross. Or you just treat this as a breakout trade and you know, what I say for breakout trades is start accumulating once you are fairly confident. You don't have to go all in immediately. Like, okay, we're bullish, trend looks great, this looks like the best chart around, checked all the boxes, awesome, whatever. We don't care about regulatory risk, headline risk, CZ going to jail. We don't care about any of that. What I would do, you know, buy something. You know, start with your number. Let's say your number is I don't know, just making something up, right? Just 500,000, 5,000, whatever. This is your total size that you want to get to on the breakout. So here we're going to buy something. We're going to open the trade because we think it's bullish. And then here, maybe we buy some more. We go, you know, something like this. We add more, and then by the time this thing breaks out, you know, we could say whatever we have left, which would be this. You know, this is an example of mapping this out as a breakout trade. It might seem counterintuitive because you're buying higher. I get it, but this has to do with confidence of the breakout actually breaking out. You know, you could also have something down here, right? Say, you know what? I like not down there, but you know, whatever it is. But this looks really good. That's one way to do it. You know, you can TWAP this. You can just buy every not $500, every $50 or something, right? There's lots of ways to skin this cat. This is just an example, something you could do. But yeah, it looks really good. So thanks for, I don't look at this chart anymore because I don't really have access to it, but I should really put it on the watch list because it exists, it's a thing. Not because it's bullish, but it's still one of the higher market cap coins. So that looks really good. Looks good on the daily. Looks good on the 12-hour. The weekly looks very good. BNB BTC, I'm sure, also looks very good. You know, that's a breakout all day long in the BTC pair. I guess you could say, what, like ascending triangle or something? Coming off of a year-long downtrend. It looks good. It looks really good. Yes, Perry, BNB is on GMX, isn't it? My first immediate thought was that exact thought. LPT. It looks good. It looks really good. All of DeFi, again, I wouldn't touch. Any other chart we just looked at, I wouldn't touch. Most of Legacy, I wouldn't touch. But this is one chart that looks good. Guys, he's screaming H-bar with extra exclamation points. Here's what I think's going on with H-bar. I think the move is done for the next 6 months, and this thing is just going to get faded into oblivion. That's what I kind of think. That's what I kind of think. What do you even say? You know, it's in the weekly cloud. It's got that. It looks better than in Filecoin in the weekly cloud. Okay, looks better than Algo. Looks better than Flow. ENS doesn't really have a weekly cloud. Okay, so it's got all that going for it. I would just be very careful with the inflation, the emissions here, because I know the unlock schedule is aggressive and high. It helps that they had a positive headline when there's not much else going on. That's about it. What else do you want me to say? Like on the daily, what is this? What is this? I guess you could draw this, you know, I don't even know. Some sort of megaphone thing? Clearly it had a, it had that Head and Shoulders before broken down, and then there was your headline. You know, I don't know. To me, the move is over. To me, there are so many people trapped. There are so many people trapped in this thing from this move here that they cannot wait to sell. They're just chomping at the bit. Do you know how many people every day ask me, hey, do you know when such and such coin is getting back to X level because that's my break even? That's where people are at right now. So, yeah, things can go up on a headline. I don't know. I don't think this is like a long-term play personally, but against BTC, I think it's been bearish. I think I talked about it on the video. It's been, where's the weekly? You know, it's been bearish since mid 2021. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. All right, arrow. Yeah, I've got a list on the side here. I looked at H bar. BNB we looked at. That is the golden child of the stream easily. I can tell you right now without even looking at the rest of the stuff, that's going to be the best. That's going to be your best bet. If you want to trade something, trade that. You just have to dodge, you know, regulatory headlines, dodge any negative headlines, stuff like that. We just reorganize this list. Okay. Ocean. Don't we have... Hold on, let me just look at... what do they do to the watch lists? They added something. Let me flip through this watch list real quick to see if there's anything worth even discussing. Render, I would wait for the bullish TK cross, price above cloud. You know, it looks like Solana, right? It's just chilling there. Sui, bearish. Arrow, somebody just asked me to look at. If you know the cloud, you know, you don't need my opinion because you know what I'm going to say. It's not bullish, right? There's a distant possibility that a lot of this stuff plays out. There's a lot of this going on right now. We haven't broken down yet. But let's say, like, realistically, where could this go? Back to 86. There's a lot of charts that look kind of like this. And again, I can't be bullish on this. This looks horrendous. This looks horrific. So yeah, not bullish. Velo, no. Prime, no. Ondo. Somebody in the comments kept asking me about Ondo. You know, it's okay. It's ranging. It's been momentumless for a long time. Use the BNB chart as your filter. Like, if it doesn't look like it's pushing highs and it's been flat for a month plus, probably not the best chart to sit in, you know. Ordi. Unfortunate that Ordi broke down. I'm sure I said this probably last stream. Again, you've got these negative vibes, these bad vibes, okay? Think of the euro, think of all of these charts. This stuff just does not look good. It cannot hold a high. It's trying to break down. It looks bad. STX. What's going on here? Below the 12 hour, in the daily. Maybe there's some sort of megaphone here to watch on STX. The problem with the megaphone pattern is like, okay, what do I do? You know, what do I do down here? Do I buy with a stop? I assume that's how you play this. I've never been a fan of the megaphone. You know, Link, let's take a look at the Link chart, because Link had, you know, Link, even up here, whatever this was, it's like, okay, we know there's something going on here. Head and Shoulders, Diamond, you know, it could have been a bunch of stuff. Could have been a megaphone. If you think about the STX chart, like, okay, we bought this on STX. Oh crap, it went down another 20%, right? Like, I don't personally feel comfortable trading megaphones for that reason. So just something to think about. I don't really have an opinion here. Trend is all over the place. It's neutral. This is back to this chart, right? This is the most important chart. You get this right, you'll get the rest of the stuff right. It's unlikely that anything else outperforms Bitcoin in the near term, which is why BNB is such a rarity right now. But yeah, you know, if Bitcoin breaks up, everything's going to break up, right? Pepe. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. What was the other chart? Crap. What was the other chart? Man, I'm blanking hard. There's another chart that looks just like this right now. It's a crypto chart. Oh, it's near. Okay. I think you just set an alert. I think you set an alert on near and Pepe. This could play out as an inverted head and shoulders on both of them. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. The charts look similar. You know, it certainly looks better than 95% of the trash we've looked at. GRT we already looked at. INJ, sorry, GOSP. Not looking so hot. Not looking so hot. CeeLo, bearish. RLB, bearish. LYX, more bearish than last week somehow. PRQ, bearish. METIS, bearish. Say, bearish. CTSI, bearish. FET, okay. It's above the cloud-ish. It's a crowd favorite. I don't think it's a long, but it looks better than everything else, right? It's not like back to 60 cents like some of these charts. I think you just wait for, on some of these alts, you'll see me go to the 12-hour, just because alts tend to move quicker. You know, like if I was watching this chart down here, look at this Adam and Eve Kumo breakout, like beauty, right? So I would watch for something up here in the next couple weeks. I don't think there's a trade here now. You know, this is no BNB, folks. Not much else is. You know what I mean? But it looks better than most of the charts, right? AGIX, same thing. This is part of the AI medley, right? Same story. Great little breakout down here. You know, you could probably put all three of these on a chart. Let's just do that real quick. Ocean. Sure. No, what was the other one? FET. Sure. When is the merge happening for these? Or whatever. The yeah, I don't even know what to call it. So all three of these are basically the same chart, you know? So something to watch for would be, hey, does one of these start to outperform before the others? That's a leading signal for the other two potentially. These clearly have been extremely highly correlated. So I would watch for that if you're trading any of these. Like if FET breaks out and I'm late, I would trade the other two with the assumption that things are going to do the same, right? They definitely look better than most of the market right now. I don't think there's a trade, but they look decently okay. Ocean BTC. Let's go to log, go back to the daily. Ocean BTC. We've been talking about, I'll just go to Kraken. We've been talking about this for a while. Just because, again, like when something catches my eye, like the BNB chart today, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I'm going to watch that for a little while. This held so far. Like the BNB breakout, I don't think you touch this until it's back to this level. I don't think you just assume this is going to do well, but sure. You know, I don't know the details of like the merger thing that they plan on doing, how that's going to work with the tokens. But I don't hate it eventually. Just got to be careful in the near term. But clearly the chart's just been a sideways mess. All right, back to our regularly scheduled bear doom scrolling here. Let's go back to candles, daily, true, bearish TK cross, trying to break down, bearish, SHIB. So SHIB, like Near and like Pepe, this has the potential for an inverted head and shoulders-ish. You know, like, again, like this looks like it leans bullish. Is it going to break out? I have no idea. Is it going to go to mega highs? I have no idea. It's just like, you know, what does it look like it's trying to do? It looks like it's trying to do something like this and, you know, maybe have something, I don't know, right? So you can always set alerts for, pick some level. We'll pick, I don't even know what level that is, but we'll just put an alert there as an example. Basically, if it makes a higher high, check it out. You know, I don't know. Bonk looks pretty good too. It's bounced quite a bit. I like this about Bonk in that it vomited all of its gains from February back to the retracement level. Like it's clearly like running away with it now, but the same idea as the others. If this makes a higher high, just set an alert on that. I don't know if this is going to play out as an inverted head and shoulders, but it's something to watch for. I wouldn't want to touch this here. It just feels late at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's recovered, right? A lot of this stuff is still at lows relative to what Bonk looks like. So Bonk looks good. Beam, bearish. Ton, losing the 12-hour cloud, bearish TK cross. Not bullish. It's had quite a run over the past month. Just, you know, needs to regain some steam. Sell, frame, bearish. Crow has a little bit of a falling wedge situation. Maybe. Another reason I don't like BNB, I don't like any exchange coin generally. I didn't like FTT. I've never really liked BNB Crow is clearly an exchange coin. But falling wedge is something to watch for on that one. Sand, bearish. Sin, BTC, bearish. ILV, bearish. XLM, garbage nonsense, bearish. Flat for 2 years. Tezos, bearish. Strax, garbage. Mog, kind of like the others. Pepe, Near. Again, it's trying to do something, right? You got to respect the pump. You got to respect the pump. It might break out. Doesn't look terrible. FXS. Is that an all-time low? That might be an all-time low. Let's check Binance. No, not an all-time low, but looks real bad. I'm going to even do this. I'm going to set an alert at 9:58, okay? And never think about this thing again. I don't think you can touch this till it's back up there. Rune, I talked about, I think. Again, it's got that head and shoulders thing that it's trying to do. I do not like that. Do not like that. Rune BTC looks like a mess. I don't even know. Wrapped Ampleforth, bearish. Comp, I talked about bearish. So all of DeFi looks horrendous, horrific. Yeah, BNB looks amazing. BNB looks really good. All right, let's go back to the list. We looked at STX, we looked at Ocean, we looked at Bonk. Rari, someone's asking. You tell me. What do you think I'm going to say? When I used to work for a neuro-ophthalmologist, and whenever I'd come to him with like a question, I would always say, you know, the question and then say, this is what I would do. That's how you want to start thinking. Like, you know, I have something I want Josh to look at, or whoever, right? Like, what do I think that person is going to say? What is my input here? This is not, it's got to clear this head and shoulders crap first. It's not bullish on the daily. It's had quite a run over the past 6 months. You know, it's kind of it. It needs to clear that first. But this does not look good to me. Ledgercast, that's up to Brian. He's got an IRL life. It's up to him. Near has eternal selling pressure from VCs. Waldo, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think all the alts are in trouble from that regard, but chart looks good. Chart looks good. Let me catch up with Chad here. Invert some charts. Inverse investment time. That's one way to make things look better. I have not looked at AEM yet. Arweave, I'll add that to the list here. He's either got deep H-bar bags or he's a paid actor to come into chats and scream H-bar people. I'm sorry, but it just, right here, right now, not a fan of H-bar. What percent cash? 30 to 40% cash, probably, something like that, in trading accounts. All right, CZ's going to jail. CZ, blah blah blah. CZ. STX we looked at. Make a 5x ETF for flow. Call it heavy flow. Great idea, Joey. QNT, look at that one. DNT? Okay, if that's not a coin, Steven Chapman. Last cycle post-halving, we only went up, says Danny. Yeah, but we also weren't at all-time highs. We weren't at all-time highs before halving, right? If we're holding for the cycle, how do you suggest going about DCA during this lull? So let's say you had, again, let's pick a random number. It doesn't matter what it is. This is a DCA question, okay? Let's say you had $10,000. I would take 50% of that, and I would DCA weekly, okay? The other 50%, I would wait for 20-week moving average. That's it. That's what I would do. And depending on how far you want to extend this weekly DCA, make it $500 a week, make it $100 a week, whatever you want to do. But if we get close to the 20-week moving average or below it, maybe you say, you know what, I like this Josh guy, but I'm a little cautious. Where's my list? You could say NFA, by the way, not financial advice. All right, this is the 20-week moving average. So my lump sum stack, 50K, let's pick this number because it's close to that. You spread it out a little bit. Let's say we put 50% at the 20-week moving average. We put 25% here. We put 25% here, and then otherwise the other 50% of total stack. DCA weekly. That's it. That's all I would do, and I wouldn't even think about it. That's all. That's how I would do it. INJ never below 18. And we'll see, Gosp. We'll see who has the last laugh. Yeah, LPT. UUP, I think that's Ray. That's probably Legacy, right? Is that uranium? Every cycle, the list of dino coins grows. I agree, RJ. Please tell us the 20-week moving average. So TradingView is free. You don't need an account. If you don't like TradingView, you can just go to Kraken Pro. And also free. You don't even need an account. But you can go to any pair and just turn it on. You don't need me for that. Okay, it was a joke. Thank you. Yes, Legacy DXY. Okay. All right, so that's how I would DCA. Let's finish this list of alts, and then in the last, time flies, ladies and gentlemen. In the last 30 minutes, I'll look at legacy stuff. So if you got any legacy tickers, I'll look at miners, I'll look at coin, MSTR, all that fun stuff. All right, LPT. Where are you, LPT? Is that live peer? It is. How good am I? Come on. Bearish. Again, it's got this weird like head and shoulders diamond thing, right? Like this needs to clear first. It's probably on, yeah, it's probably in the weekly cloud. Like, look, anything that looks like this, Filecoin, Algo, Flow, if this breaks, if any of these break up, it's going to happen like months from now. I'm talking months from now. So keep that in mind. We never looked at Sol ETH, just for completeness. Sol ETH also has this like head and shoulders potential over the next couple months. But I don't think you can be bearish this pair until it breaks down. So let's just add an alert and move on with our day. But this still looks pretty bullish to me. You know, it's ranging, it's gross. I get it, but it's not bad. Not bad. All right, Arweave. Arweave. It's trying to get above the cloud. Bearish TK cross. Doesn't look terrible. Trying for that like head and shoulders thing again. You could set 2 alerts on this. One at like 35. That would be an immediate local high. And then it probably doesn't get to 45, but it's another alert to set. But it looks okay. Looks okay. Definitely. QNT. What is this? I have no idea what that is. Ranging chop garbage nonsense. It's been bearish for its entire life, basically. Again, it had this like head and shoulders thing in 2022, right? And it never really did anything after that. Doesn't look great. DNT, I think. Oh, no, it is a token. Okay. All right. What do we got here? I hope this person didn't buy it 16 cents. District 0x. So all of this is probably going to retrace, right? It's probably going back to 4. That's what it looks like at once, you know. It doesn't look bullish, okay? It looks like the move happened. People that sold wanted to sell and have kept selling. There's clearly a lot of people back here. Oops. A lot of people back here who are just so excited that they can sell here. Every day they're selling, you know? Yeah, I looked at STX. It looks okay. Which influencer on Twitter do I think is a grifter? Aren't most of them grifters? Is that a serious question? Look, if you're pumping a token, if you're mentioning a token and you're part of a team, I hate to say like people selling a product are grifters. Some of them are good, like, so I don't want to like make a hasty generalization, but we'll just go with most. We'll go with most. All right, that's DNT. So yeah, not bullish. Doesn't look good. KDP. Is this a chart? Oh, somebody requested Dr. Pepper. Sure, we'll take a look. KO. Coca-Cola. All right. We'll do those later. Pep, yep, that's Pepsi. Okay. We'll take a look. All right, the last one is Bowden and E-Gold. Those are the last 2. There's got to be better. Is it like Bowden Soul or something? My allergies are going crazy. I don't know, people. Is there a chart with this thing somewhere? Doesn't look bullish. Looks like ranging chop. I don't know. Like there was this. There's like this maybe. Maybe that breaks up. I don't know. Yeah, I'm friends with Donald and Cred. They're fine. I don't consider them grifters. They're not selling anything, are they? They're like me. They do content. They have sponsors. Dex Screener. Last time we went to Dex Screener, we lost 20% of the altcoin market, so I can't go back to the Dex Screener. All right, eGold, Binance Daily. That's a yikes. Doesn't look bullish, right? It's below the cloud. The weekly, if it breaks, if this eventually becomes bullish, it's going to take a lot of time. You know, for alts to do well, it goes back to this list, right? Rates need to come down. Liquidity needs to come up. Dollar strength needs to become dollar weakness. Uncertainty needs to become certainty. Geopolitical risk probably needs to come down. It's just headwinds, tailwinds conversation. But there's nothing to do here. All right, so that's crypto. So I got legacy here. In the last few minutes we've got on this fine Thursday, S&P switching to legacy cloud, phasers set to stun. Unlike Bitcoin, S&P closed in the daily cloud, much like the earlier conversation about bearish TK cross. Same thing here. You know, it's probabilities, it's hit rate, it's what I've seen historically. It's not like some hard rule. If this has a bearish TK cross today, over next week, based on technicals, it's more likely to eventually close further in the cloud. That's it. Just like August, September, right? We just saw this. After that, what are you looking for? We just saw this, October, November. You know, you're looking for bullish TK cross, price above cloud, bullish cloud. Or bullish TK crisscross, like February on Bitcoin. But up here, it had a great run, right? 6 months. Now it's time to give some back. Does not look bullish. QQQ looks horrific. Already had its bearish TK cross pretty deep in the cloud already. And if you're honest with yourself, like, this is always going to be the best entry. So you just wait for that here over the next 3 to 6 months. And you treat it like the entry of a lifetime. And you don't miss it. But now is not the time to play around with the S&P or the Qs. IWM looks horrific as well. These all look just awful to me. Dixie, we talked about gold. I think gold, to me, hit the near-term target. Take the high, take the low, measure it. You can be conservative, you can be less conservative. It's in the range of expectations. I think the meat of the near-term move is done for now on gold. I think it's going to need some consolidation. It's going to need time up here. Eventually, we're talking like the next 4 years, I expect gold to go to 3,500. I think it's going to take a lot of time to go to 3,500 for gold. But yeah, that's the target, right? And that's that. UJ, we talked about euro, oil. Oil, we'll go daily oil. It looks like DXY to me. It's flirting with eventual higher highs, which would be a problem on the inflation front, which would be a problem for a risk because that means the Fed is more likely to hold rates where they are or raise them. That's that, right? So this should be inverse to Bitcoin. This should be inverse to altcoins. You don't want to see oil at 100 plus. Alternatively, oil at 100 plus means Joe Biden is probably less likely to get reelected. And if you think Trump is bullish for altcoins or whatever, crypto, then you want oil at 100 plus. So near-term pain for sure if oil goes to 100 plus. XLE, the energy ETF, this thing still looks amazing to me. I love that it broke out. I love that it pulled back to the breakout point. I still really like this as a long-term trade. It looks great. Looks great to me. Copper, same thing. I really like copper here. And this is another like warning signal. If commodities are looking bullish, if gold is looking bullish, silver, all this other crap, crypto's probably not looking so bullish. My guess is this stuff either needs to break out in a big way or fail at the breakouts, and then crypto's going to do better. It's not that the commodity people are trading Bitcoin, it's just sentiment, right? If commodities look good, inflation's probably high, risk off is probably on the table. So this COPEX, copper miners ETF, whatever, it trades close to the copper futures chart, which is why I like it. And again, this is an inverted head and shoulders all day. This is multi-year pattern. Anything that takes years to form, you have to give it time to break out. You have to give it time to do its thing, right? Give it time. Not that people are arguing with me that this isn't a breakout, but I'm just saying to myself, like, okay, like I'm bullish on this. Nothing has changed. It still looks very good. I think it goes higher. That's that. Yeah, I agree, Crunchy Taco. That is a very clean retest for XLE. TLT continues to look horrific. This is long bond prices. Long bond yields look extremely bullish. Again, another problem for risk. This looks really good. This looks super strong. If we go to 5%, things may go boom up here. Okay. It just looks like that's where we're going. It looks like we're going to try to go to 5%. So it's going to be a drag on equities. It's going to be a drag on crypto. It's going to be a drag on the Mag 7. I haven't looked at Tesla. I will. So anyway, that's kind of my main list of stuff I care about. We can look at silver. I don't really care about silver. But like copper, right? We're talking a multi-year inverted head and shoulders something. It looks fine, Do I like it here and lower? Sure. I don't trade copper. I don't trade silver, so it's not my favorite setup. But looks fine. Looks fine. All right, let's go talk about Mag 7. Silver is a huge cup and handle if you zoom out. I don't know. See, the chart pattern purists would tell you. I assume you mean this, right? This here. Just like gold. Sure, whatever. I'm not going to disagree. It looks good. You can't be bearish silver. Based on the technicals, there's all sorts of reasons that this continues. So it looks good. It looks good. Mag 7 stuff, NVIDIA. And you tell me, based on everything we just talked about with the cloud. 1980s, says Last Nano Hero. That's before I was born. I believe you. I yield. based on everything I was saying with everything else, has Nvidia gotten good headlines based on what other people say they're buying? Sure. Uh, this does not look bullish to me still. This needs to clear the TK cross. It needs to get out of the cloud. Look, you can be bullish all you want, but the technicals are not supportive of that. They just are not. One other thing I did before the stream, I went through all of these on like the 4 hour. Just something for you to do on your own time. Make your list and just click through the 4 hour time frame with the cloud on anything, and it's pretty clear what is and isn't bullish. Most everything is pretty bearish still. So that's Nvidia. Apple's looked horrific for a long time. This is the beauty of the cloud, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's telling you the trend is not bullish. Is there a div here? Is it going to bounce? Maybe, but that's not for me. If this plays out as a double top, it's got a ways to go still. We'll see if it gets that low. I don't know. But, it doesn't look bullish. Hasn't looked bullish in a long time. Microsoft, you know what I'm going to say. Bearish TK cross pricing cloud. That's it. If you're trading the trend, like I like to trade, you're waiting for all of this mumbo jumbo to clear. That may take weeks, it may take months, but the entry just isn't there here. If you like buying blood, if you like DCA, whatever, fine. But based on the trend, to me, this is where the money is made. You could have guessed in July to November and said, okay, like from here to the next 3 to 6 months, you could say, I think we're close to the low. That's fine, whatever. But the trend is not on your side here. Not on your side. Amazon, the same thing, right? This was the long. This was the long. This is nothing here. This is the end of a trend, for sure. I'd also talked about this inverted head and shoulders. Depending on how you want to measure it, it got close to the target. I think that would have been a new all-time high. I did trade this with leveraged ETF. Did well, but I'm out. I've been out for a while. I just think everything needs to give a lot back first. That's all. So I agree with whoever said short Amazon. I think you're a little late on the short, but everything looks like junk to me. So I don't hate it. Meta, I've said this for a while. I don't know anybody who got excited about buying Meta at 500. I don't know why. Why would you get excited about that? Monthly looks horrific. Weekly looks horrific. I like 325, but not 500. The daily, yesterday's earnings call was a disaster, apparently. Still down 11% on the day. It's bounced quite a bit, right? Sort of filling the gap. On trend, it's just not there. The cloud is not going to steer you wrong because this square was similar to Nvidia's like chop, right? At the very end of the chop, almost always you will see a bullish TK cross. So that's what you're waiting for. There's going to be a stream. I can see it now. I'm manifesting it. There's going to be a stream in like 2 to 3 months where everything's going to look good. There's going to be so many setups, so many trades. You're going to be like sick with the amount of trades that are out there. But right now, there's nothing, You just got to wait. There's nothing there. Look at how much this could give back. This could give back. This could give back a ton. It just needs time. Google still has a soft spot in my heart, just because I like this cup handle, whatever, call it whatever you want. I like how this looks still. I realize that the entirety of the universe, the Mag 7, is bearish and weak. I still think Google looks fine. They have earnings in 10 minutes, so this might drop. What is like 16%, 15%? This might drop to 132, like Meta did. I have no clue, but I still like Google. Netflix was like Meta to me. It was just, who's excited about buying at 640? Just needs time. Setup's just not there for the long side. Just chop. Tesla, much like Apple, this thing has been bearish for a very long time. And look, you can get cute with a few things down here. You can get cute with a falling wedge breakout. Okay, you can say there's that. You can say there's some sort of candle pattern, which I'm sure exists. What would it be, a bullish engulfing or something? I'm sure this is some sort of pattern. But it's clear. Like, it's, for me, until it's above the daily cloud, I'm not touching it. Maybe you go down to the 4 hour and you say, okay, if it's above the 4 hour, then I can get serious about it. But it's not even above the 4 hour cloud. Just needs more time. I don't think this is a serious company, but I know a lot of people trade it. SMCI, also in the cloud, had a breakdown. We talked about that for weeks. Sounds good, Karen. See ya. Michael, I rarely buy blood. Rarely. Bonk was a good example of something. Like, I'll give you an example on this chart where I would buy would be down here at 360, right? I mean, that would be like Armageddon. Okay. I like that because it's washed out all of the move. Bonk was a good example. I just wasn't paying attention. Anything that retraces to the previous parabolic breakout, like, sure. Like, that's when I like, if you're going to take a stab anywhere, it's got to be there. It's like Bitcoin at, like, if Bitcoin gets back to here, like, if Bitcoin gets back to 44, yeah, like that's a huge breakout level. It's a huge support resist. You could argue 53 to 51. I've got bids still since March in like the mid 50s. Yeah, that's fine. But to just like blindly buy a down day, that's not for me. Okay, crypto miners, and then a few other things, then we'll get out of here real quick. MSTR, I gotta say it's fun to watch the MSTR maxis fight with the mining maxis on Twitter. This looks just as junky as everything else. You can be as bullish as you want on the fundamentals, quotes, fundamentals. You can be as bullish as you want on the accounting rules changing, the short float, name anything you want. The technicals are not on your side. This needs to clear the bearishness first before I get bullish on it. It's the same story. It's setting up for a bearish TK cross. It's setting up for a close below the cloud. It's setting up for a retest of the midpoint on this pitchfork. And that's it. Okay, that's basically 1,000 would be the level, or lower. 1,000 or lower, and I can get serious about this company. But this is not a level to buy, in my opinion. WGMI has been a mess, to say the least. It's been ranging. it's turbo mega chop. The good thing about this turbo mega chop is that the cloud is flipping bearish today. So at this point, the trend metrics are all bearish. We're, well, sort of, like we're below the cloud-ish, bearish TK cross, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the next breakout is probably something to trade. And you could probably just draw like a diagonal resistance there. I think that's as far as you can go. Just look at this on the 4 hour. It's been kind of insane, the amount of volatility since 2024. I don't think there's anything to do there. Anyway, that's WGMI, that's the mining ETF. Clean Spark looks okay on the daily. Again, I would wait for the bullish TK cross there. Marathon looks kind of gross below the daily cloud. I don't know, turbo chop, you know, not really helpful there. Riot, turbo epic, nonsensical chop. It's bounced a ton from the lows. To me, this looks like a short squeeze. I know nothing about the short float here, but what even is this? You know, like, do you treat this as some like channel? I don't even know. This is not a market for me. I do not trade charts that look like that. IREN, kind of similar to WGMI. IREN might try for something soon on the daily, but it's not above the daily cloud yet. SDIG is uninteresting to me until it's back above 10. And why don't I just set an alert for 9.95? Boom, alert. Don't have to think about it. Hut, chop. Wolf, the only chart, I tweeted this out, the only chart that I think looks decent on the miners right now is Wolf. Clean Spark looks fine, like that's okay, but from a trading perspective, this looks to be coiling and may try for something. I have no idea. Gree, very sad. Doesn't look good. Similar to Stronghold. Trying to think of where I'd put an alert at like 740. I don't know. I don't know what you do with that thing. Coin. I have a lot of coin. A lot of people have a lot of coin. They have earnings coming up next week, right? Chart looks okay. It's like everything else. Like, trend is not on your side here because it's faded quite a bit. Is this randomly going to pop with earnings? Maybe. I don't know. You know, if you're bullish fundamentals, maybe you like this, but I don't think there's really much to do. Square, kind of like the alts, to me, it just needs time to work its way through the weekly cloud. Not really much else to say on that one. Hood still looks fine. You know, you got to give it time. It took 3 years, 2 years and change to break out. You got to give it time to finish whatever the breakout's going to be. So I still think it looks fine. PayPal, kind of the dark horse. It still has this falling wedge thing that it's trying to break out of. It's not really like a right now priority, but it's something to definitely watch into the rest of the year, I think. What else do we have? So Tesla, we looked at coin. All right. AEM, a gold miner, I believe, right? Doesn't look bad. Some sort of like some sort of diagonal here that it broke up, right? And it's got like shoulders, multiple shoulders. Doesn't look bad. What's the other one? GDX, I think. GDX looks similar. I think the common thing to look at is what? GDX and GLD. You could say like, you know, there's some sort of expectation for these charts to do something together eventually, and some sort of catch-up trade between the two. You can do the same thing with miners, Bitcoin miners and spot Bitcoin. I don't know, I'm not a fan of miners in general on anything. But the gold miners chart does look good. Sox L. Bullish semis. I'm guessing this chart does not look good. Yeah, it's not bullish, right? It's below the daily cloud. SMH was another one I played a while back. I think 220 was where I got out of that one. Right? Like they look like Nvidia and the rest of them. Inverted Adam and Eve, bearish, needs time. That's it. Just needs time. WM. WM looks good. There you go. There's a chart. It's above the daily cloud. It's almost at an all-time high. It had some sort of something down here, right? I mean, it looks like the move happened, so I don't know realistically how much more juice this has in it, but it certainly doesn't look bearish. UUP. This was from Ray. He said it was a bullish dollar. Doesn't look bad. You know, it's above the daily cloud. This is a good hedge against the BTC stack. I have, what do I have, USDU? I think it should be the same chart. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're worried about a bullish dollar, which I am, then owning a little bit of this makes sense, just as a hedge. KDP, last few here, Keurig. That looks really good. That's a crazy candle. I mean, there's an obvious diag. Obvious diag that it broke out of. Looks good. You know, the move kind of happened at this point, but it does look good. KO. Coca-Cola. What a mess of a chart that is. I mean, it's kind of bullish. I don't know. Not something I would touch. Very noisy. And lastly, PepsiCo. Also super noisy. These are like the Warren Buffett darlings, right? Give everybody diabetes with the sugar. All right, we're gonna call it there. So BNB was the star of the show. Thanks for hanging out. BNB looks phenomenal. Unfortunately, as much as I dislike stuff like BNB, it looks really good. Looks really good. Can't deny it. That's all I got for this one. Give me a like, give me dislike, whatever else. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll talk on Sunday. Take care.